let's talk about taboo. Let's talk about nuclear power for a
It's not
minute.
taboo anymore. Even
Oh,
Afghanistan's
it's not.
nuclear is green.
It's
What are you
not.
talking
Oh,
about?
I don't know. I thought it was taboo. I was told that one time when I was a kid, and then I never. I thought I didn't want to live by that big reactor. That's what I was told.
Yeah, of course. Everyone wanted to scare everybody until they realized that you know
Can't power AI with windmills.
coal-fired burning plants are spewing toxic fumes into the atmosphere, and solar's great until it snows and they get covered. Same thing for windmills. Our windmills all locked up here when we had a huge freeze. But nuclears are back in power, baby. And why is that? Current estimates say that right now data centers take 1 to 2% of global power, and by the end of the decade, you're looking at 3 to 4%. We did not do done that analysis, but it looks like it is true. And the biggest driver of that are these power-hungry GPUs, right? Cranking out these, large training runs. So nuclear is in. It was almost like the entire industry was waiting for this, right? And what happened recently with Microsoft and Google, right? They're both making huge investments into SMRs, which is basically small nuclear reactors. If you remember, you had Microsoft and BlackRock that closed on a $30 billion round, going into a $100 billion round. It's pretty amazing. You and I were both I was on Fox Business and Fox News, which was kind of funny, but they were out at 3 Mile Island going through pretty much.
Look at MAGA hat, dude.
Oh, get out of here. Good Lord.
I've never done Fox
business. Oh, yes, you have. Well, I did it on the auspice of Fox Business, and they slid my content into a Brett Baer segment. He's pretty centrist.
Yeah, he is actually. Yeah, they kind of look at him as if anything, actually. Yeah. Anyway, no politics here except when there are.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, it just shows you just how quickly stuff moves in tech, Daniel. And from nuclear taboo, protest to nuclear good, and everybody within 2 weeks just dropped the hammer on this thing. There had to be some wink, wink, nudge, nudge going on with the government. This has a lot to do with China competitiveness, that in the last decade, they put up 72 nukes. We put 2 in Georgia, and there's 1 in Western Europe. Germany shut theirs down. France didn't, but they didn't build any new ones. But it just shows you a couple things. Also begs the question on GPUs versus accelerators. If accelerators are more efficient, which they are, why aren't more people doing stuff with accelerators? That's it for me.
Oh my gosh. I sent a tweet yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, where Arvind Krishna told the group that in 5 years we'll have these super efficient ASICs that'll be 1% of the power consumption of the GPU today. Now there's a lot behind that. I'm not going to tease it all out. We'll save some of that for later. But Pat, 3 Mile Island's reopening, and that's Microsoft, and then Google, and then Amazon. I mean, the shoes dropped. They all have got to get behind this. There's not enough power on the grid for what we're going to do here. You just based on the GB200 order book right now, when all these things get stood up and implemented, we're going to start to see. We've talked a lot on the show about Northern Virginia hitting the sort of peak of it. Well, that's data center central world. And this interesting technology, these SMRs, I mean, the thing is, we don't know quite yet how well this will actually work. It's not totally unproven, but it's not something that's been done at scale. So there's still a lot of question marks around this technology, but the industry is going to and has to make a pretty sizable investment, Pat. I mean, there isn't another way to get there. Interestingly enough, though, we are also going to continue to deal with these diametrically opposed AI and the power it's going to consume versus all these companies. I mean, look, Pat, you and I kind of always said we want to get back to more practical sustainability. Like, we want to get more.
Always. We have been super consistent on that. Not that we like, coal fire putting crap in the environment, but it's just like we need to find the alternative. And somehow nukes became taboo. How on earth did that happen? I know exactly how that happened. It was
Yeah.
environmental groups who, quite frankly, are anti-commerce. And that's not a political statement. That's a fact. That is just a fact that we're consuming too much. Therefore, we should cut off the ability to consume.
Yeah, well, yeah, certainly that is the case. And so we're kind of battling these opposing forces right now. And these opposing forces essentially mean we have to go down this path. We have to make this investment. We have to do this to stay. And to your point, so China has all this capacity. They don't have necessarily all the silicon innovation. We have all the silicon innovation, and we've failed with the infrastructure capacity to actually handle it. This is the path to get us there. It won't be windmills and waterfalls. It just won't happen. But the industry as a whole does have to sort of do this backpedaling exercise right now. Why suddenly all their green 2040 and 2050 goals are going to get pushed out. Carbon footprints are going to be on the rise. Nuclear can help offset this to some extent, but the amount of power it's going to take to run what we're talking about as AI is palpable. And so it's exciting times. It's interesting times. We're going to have to see how all this materializes. By the way, there is an energy trade back. There's an energy trade for, the market. Again, not financial advice, but I'm just saying that, like, if it's things that, like, silicon carbide, things that can make things more power efficient, but there's also going to be a whole trade, Vertiv, these companies like this, and these companies that basically are focused on cooling technology, and these companies that are focused on powering more data centers.